Hello, welcome, and sorry. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to another Maple Bitcoin live stream. I'm Jor. I'm joined by my two good buddies, Rajat, Forrest. Happy Friday, boys. It's going to be a good one today. I'm wearing my Navy hoodie, and I even went full Navy gitch. I was just feeling the flow today so much that I wanted to throw on some Navy gitch to match my full outfit today. So I'm dialed. I don't know about you guys. I got an espresso here and even Guinness for the happy hour today. So this one's going to be a little bit different of an episode. Usually we're kind of going back and forth. We're trying to convince people, show the reasons why people should be trading some fiat for sats, but we're going to do a little bit different today. We're going to be talking about we're going to be talking to Bitcoiners, the people who have already figured this thing out. We're going to be talking to the people who are stacking Bitcoin every day, and we're going to share our thoughts and our experiences with it. So how do you want to kick this off today, boys? We got a little bit of a graphic here. The hedonic treadmill.
Yeah, so I can start it up. So I wanted to mention our title is "You'll Never Be Satisfied with How Much Bitcoin You Have." So let's say you have 0.1 Bitcoin, you're going to want 0.2. You have 0.5 Bitcoin, you're going to want 1. You have 1 Bitcoin, you're going to want 2. 2 Bitcoin, you're going to want 5. 5 Bitcoin, you're going to want 10, and so on. It'll keep going. Even Michael Saylor, who has 650,000 Bitcoin in his company, he wants more, right? He's always going to want more, and that's just how everybody thinks. That's how we're human. We're greedy. We want more optionality, and that's exactly what Bitcoin represents. At least in my opinion, it represents the choice to buy more things in the future if we want to. So the way that I see it, this is a hedonic treadmill, and what a hedonic treadmill is that if you have a certain level of happiness, like an average level of happiness, no matter what happens, you'll probably return to that at some point in the future. So let's say, for example, you're a really happy person and something negative happens, you're going to be, I guess, unhappy for a little while. And then eventually you'll come back to your average, no matter what happens, really. So let's say, for example, as an example here, um, let's say you get a promotion, you'll be happier. Then you notice that you have to, let's say, commute longer. Maybe you'll be indifferent. And then you realize that you're not actually getting paid as much as you thought you were. So you'll be really unhappy. And the same thing happens with Bitcoin. So let's say, for example, you're at your baseline level of happiness. You buy some Bitcoin, you think, oh yeah, I'm about to hit my goal, really great. And then you see that you're actually not as close to your goal as you think you were. So you go to the middle, and then Bitcoin's price falls, and you, depending on like how you think, Bitcoin price falls, and you think, oh no, I should have waited to buy, and then you fall to that lower level of happiness down here. So this is something that happens to everybody. This is normal. You'll always experience this. I personally experience this all the time. Like, let's say, for example, if I have a hockey game, and then I don't play well, and then my team loses, so I'm happy because I have a hockey game, and then I don't play well, and I'm back down to the baseline level of happiness, and then my team loses, I'm not as happy. But then I go home and I eat some food and I feel happier, and then I take a shower and I feel even happier, and then I watch some TV and my favorite show is not on or whatever. Like, I can't find my favorite show, or my TV, my internet's not working. And then I come back down to that baseline. It's just, you have these waves of emotion, and that's normal. You'll always feel that way with Bitcoin. No matter how much Bitcoin you have, you'll always feel the same thing. You'll always want more. You'll always feel like you missed out. And like I said, like we said in the beginning, you'll never be satisfied with your Bitcoin stack. You'll always want more. You'll always want more. No matter what happens, you will always, always, always want more. So Mike Tran said here exactly what our message here is. You can be the richest person in the world, but if you don't have time or health to enjoy it, none of it matters. Let's say you have 10 million Bitcoin, you have half the Bitcoin supply, but you're in the hospital, you have 1 day to live. You're not going to be very happy.
Yeah. The other thing here too that I'll just mention is that happiness is a feeling, and feelings are just generally fleeting. You cannot stay in a state of a specific feeling, and we sort of have a base layer or a base level that we revert back to when all else is even. And Bitcoin fixes many things, but it doesn't just fix your life in general, right? Like, you might have a goal of stacking 1 Bitcoin, and once you reach that 1 Bitcoin, you're going to feel very accomplished. But you'll probably recognize, okay, we sort of, as humans, we're always striving for more. That's sort of intrinsic to us. Um, that's part of like our survival instinct, even because that having that striving for more actually keeps us alive and into the and going into the future. So it's sort of, once you hit your goal, you'll actually probably have a momentary moment of happiness, and then you'll probably actually get more unhappy after you've reached that goal, unless you have another goal to give yourself. And it's actually that progression. I mean, that's that saying, it's not the end destination, it's about the journey. The journey itself, which is life in this example, should be um, as fulfilling as possible, with the idea of giving yourself reachable goals throughout time, doing things that you enjoy, that you feel fulfilled by. And when you do reach those milestones, those goals, that 1 Bitcoin, for instance, that's not it, right? That's not it. It's more than, life is more than just these just more than just one goal, right? You should just, you know, um, keep pushing yourself past where you thought was previously your benchmark, so that you can, because that will sustain sort of that base level happiness higher. That's the thing you need to raise, is the bar, because you will just naturally fluctuate based on life events and situations. But if you can just gradually push that bar up, then you'll on average have a better life.
I think from my perspective, anyways, one thing that's helped a lot with this, because I think both of you guys said it, like there, you can't really fight against this. Like it's not something that any human being, in my opinion, is capable of resisting these ups and downs. I think what you can do is just be aware of it. And I think the other thing that you can do is practice something like stoicism, in the sense where you don't get as high when you don't get as excited when you're on the upswing, but you don't get, at the same point, you don't get as down when it's the opposite. So it's kind of a trade-off too, because stoicism, something that I've been into for quite a while now, and it's had an amazing, profound impact on my life overall. But some people tell me I need to be a little bit more emotional with things. So there's good and bad, and I'm sure you can guess who would say that in my life. But the point is like you really want to, you can't fight it. You have to understand that life is all about yin and yang. It goes up, it goes down. But I think that if you really want to manage these swings to the high and to the low, you have to practice it going both ways. I think that's the hard part. The hard part is to really practice this stuff when things are really good. Because when things are going really good, it's really easy to get all fired up and buzzing, and you're like, the happiest guy ever. But that's really when you have to practice this stuff, because you're not going to practice it when you're on the way down. That'd be impossible to do. So I think that when you're on the upswing, you just kind of have to be conscious of this stuff. And it's one of those things where you're not going to flip a switch. You're not going to listen to this show today, and all of a sudden you're going to be a changed man or woman. This is something that you actually have to put into your life consistently, repetitively, and make it a priority in your life, because this, again, has had a really big impact on my life. And I think if you're going to be a Bitcoiner, you have to know how to manage these different emotions, because it's a pretty volatile, it's a pretty wild ride.
Yeah, it's important that you temper yourself no matter what, right? If the price goes up, I've actually been kind of I've been kind of applying that to my own, I've been applying that to my own life. When the price goes up, I just think, oh, okay, now it's time for the price to go down. Or when the price goes down, I think, okay, now it's time for the price to go up a little bit. And it always happens. It's not as big of a deal as you might think it is at some point. Like, okay, so right now people are probably worried, oh, it's at 89,000. It's going to zero. It's doing this, it's doing that. It's not that big of a deal. In a few years, when we're at 150, 200, 300, $500,000, you can be wishing that you bought at 89,000. You can be wishing that you could buy 0.01 Bitcoin at $89,000, because at that point it'll cost you $5,000.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say here, is like, there's been a lot of people, especially in the last couple of weeks, if you went back and looked at the live chat on our episodes, there was a lot of people feeling pretty down about themselves, a lot of hate towards us. But if you're somebody, again, this show is focused towards the people who understand it. We're talking to Bitcoiners today. And so the Bitcoiners here who have been stacking Bitcoin for the last couple months while we've been in a little the down part of things here, just think about it. Like, think about if you spent $1,000 and let's say you got close to 1,000,000 sats here in Canada, or I guess it'd be in the US, it'd be about $1,000 for 1,000,000 sats. If the price was where a lot of people expected it to be today, which was around 200, 250, maybe even higher than that, you would have got half the sats that you got. So it's like nothing changed. Bitcoin's still around. It's all about just managing those highs and lows and understanding that this is a very long-term play here. This is a generational play. This isn't something that you buy and sell, trade, swing trade, sell Bitcoin, buy fiat, buy back into Bitcoin. We're talking to people with very long-term time preference today. And I think that just understand that you got double the amount of sats because the price went down. Like, that's a good thing. you got double as much real units as you would have otherwise had.
Yeah, you're able to trade your fake paper money for real money, and you're able to get more units. Your purchasing power went up.
Yeah,
I think that's the most important. Your
time real purchasing power over time.
Right, the time that you put into working, the energy, the skills that you have are now paying you more. That's an advantage to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And this all, I mean, this all comes back to something Jor said, which is if you take your emotion, if you don't feel the highs and the lows as much, if you begin to recognize those, that's going to serve you well in the field of investing or growing your wealth, which is maybe a better way to explain Bitcoin. I don't really think of it as an investment, but it's sort of a savings tool, which is to grow your wealth over time. And when you are able to moderate the way you feel, you're able to look at these objectively, look at these with a point of view where you're not emotional about the price. And if you add in the basically the knowledge that you're denominating this in something that will eventually become worthless, right? We're looking at the price. We have it even below us. We have the block height, but we have the exchange rate as well in USD. That's going to just always change, but predominantly that US dollar will and could and I think will become worthless, like literally in the streets. Like, I shared a video the other day of this guy in I think it was Venezuela walking past just like a big ditch full of Venezuelan bills, and it's just like those paper bills are exactly the same as US dollars, except for the belief in those bills is completely gone, and there's still belief in the US dollar bill. So if you have that other mind frame of understanding what Bitcoin is worth, denominating it's tough to denominate Bitcoin in Bitcoin. It's kind of a weird sort of mental game you have to play, but once you do, you'll recognize that taking the emotion out of this thing, it will sort of naturally happen. You'll just be like, oh, I don't care what the price is. Or you'll be like, okay, cool, the price has gone down. I can buy more of this thing that I know is going to be able to buy other goods and services, which is the point of money. The point of Bitcoin is not to have more US dollars at the end of the day. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's to have more purchasing power, to be able to go on the trip you want to do, buy the house you want to buy. It's the goal is to have better money with Bitcoin.
Yeah. I wanted to just mention there's a chart that was posted. Do you guys know Wicked?
Yeah, I saw this one. It's great.
So he posted a chart where let me show it. I think this is important to look at. It's a chart. It's like a video where you go through Bitcoin's never look back price. So let me show you. So this is the chart. I'll play it. I'll do it on 2x just because I want to make sure that we don't take too much time watching this. But you can see here over time that price of Bitcoin keeps going up. And it keeps going up. But in the meantime, you're going to see tons of volatility. You'll see the price go up, and then you'll see this never look back price go way higher. Then it comes back down. Then goes way higher, and then it comes back down. Goes way higher and comes back down. This is where Jor's recommendation of stoicism really makes a difference. Because if you're really excited at the tops, and then you feel depressed at the bottoms, you're mostly going to feel depressed because Bitcoin's price is mostly 20% or below down from its top, from its previous top. If you get pleasure from seeing the price go up, you're not going to be very happy.
That's really funny that you brought up this chart, because I thought you were going to mention this other one that he just posted. If you want to show, but you could go to his channel, or Jor, if you bring up my screen share.
Yeah, I'll just do that, Rajat.
Okay, yeah, do that. Yeah.
This is another thing that he just made, which shows other currencies, fiat currencies, that are worth less than a Satoshi.
Oh, I saw this. This is cool.
So it begins with like the least valuable and just works its way through here. Vietnam, I mean, it goes really quick, but yeah, there's so many currencies that are worth less than a sat. These ones are worth a little bit more.
I think he goes through every single currency. Is that what he's doing?
Not every single one, but a lot of them. So yeah, essentially the Argentinian peso just became worth less than a sat. So one Argentinian peso gets you 0.7 sats. Like, this is the reality. So and this is increasing. The amount of fiat currencies that are worth less than a sat are increasing.
Yeah.
So Argentina is living in the future, truly.
Yeah.
Yes.
One sat equals $1 in Argentina.
And the Nigerian there, Nigerian naira, and then the Chilean peso is next on the chopping block, right? Like, it's worth 1.17 sats. Like, how long until that becomes worth less than one sat? It won't be long.
Yeah. I think the main takeaway when I look at this kind of stuff, it's like, damn. But also, it just goes to show that there is no price of Bitcoin.
Yes.
There's no price of Bitcoin. There's exchange rates, and every exchange rate in every different country is different. And the countries who are in worse positions, you get less sats for those fiat dollars. But every fiat dollar is the exact same thing. It's backed by nothing. So just because it's happening in Argentina right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen here. It's just a matter of time, really. Like, it's absolutely inevitable.
Yeah.
And again, unless something changes where the BRICS come out with a new currency that's actually backed by something, that's no longer a fiat currency. If the US came out and backed their treasury dollar with Bitcoin or with gold or whatever that is, that's not a fiat currency anymore. But everybody's using fiat currencies. There's nobody that's not right now on this planet. So it's like they're just happening at different pace.
Yeah. And even if they do back it with something, it's still going to decline relative to Bitcoin. I mean, even a fiat currency that's backed by Bitcoin, what's the point of that? Just to have fiat rails to be able to send and move it over fiat rails instead of natively over Bitcoin rails? That's the only potential advantage.
I think the reason why that would roll out is because the people who have control right now want to keep some sort of control still.
Sure.
And they'll market it better than Bitcoin's marketed.
But sure. But I still think it will decline relative to Bitcoin, just not as much as fiat would.
Yeah. Especially if they're not showing proof of reserves, or they're, kind of,
it requires
a little bit sus with it.
So so like Bitcoin is worth so much value to me because of how trustless of a network it is. And that's partially, I mean, entirely because of its design, right? It's way more simple than any other cryptocurrency, because other cryptocurrencies add complexity, like Turing complete smart contracts, and that requires more trust in the code that system's not going to break. So Bitcoin, it has 10-minute blocks. It's really, really dumb. It doesn't do smart contracts. It's really limited. And all of that is to reduce trust. So it's like the most trust minimized monetary system in existence. So even if there's a fiat or a government created Bitcoin backed currency, that requires more trust than just Bitcoin itself. So I don't know. That's my thesis there.
I think one thing that people really forget about in this thing is they think, oh, it has to be peer-to-peer. It has to be, if it's not being used peer-to-peer, if you're using institutions, then it's failed and all that stuff. But I think that what you're saying there, Forrest, I think that's the key, the trustlessness. So let's say, for example, if you have a global currency, or if you have a currency that's backed by gold, let's say you have the BRICS currency, and you have, let's say, a certain amount of gold backing it. Who's going to hold that gold? And how do you verify that they actually have it? And how do you verify that You can't. You
No.
can't. How many times has Fort Knox been audited?
I
That's
mean,
the whole thing.
how
Like
could it even
I
be
heard some
audited?
people today
Yeah.
talking about the Peter Schiff CZ debate, and there's
Oh,
actually some Bitcoiners that I knew that said Peter won the debate. And I was like, I don't need to watch it because there's only one thing that matters. And unless Peter has a solution to that, then it doesn't matter what he says. Just because he's a good salesman doesn't mean he's right. And
Yeah.
that one thing is that you requires trust. It requires trust to say, even if you digitize it and say, okay, well, this token's worth a fraction of this ounce of gold, you still have to be able to see and verify not only that it's there, but that it's 100% real gold. And that was what CZ tried to show him. He's like,
Mhm.
he showed him the gold bar and he said, it's pretty heavy, eh? And he said, is it real? And Peter said, I don't know.
Yeah, he can't know. But if you have a Bitcoin wallet and it's open source and verifiable, somebody sends you Bitcoin, you know that it's Bitcoin. It's the only thing you could hold in that address type. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you can verify it. You can verify it even beyond that by looking it up on your own node that is again running open source software. Yeah, I mean that alone, right? And Bitcoin can be used in more ways that require trust. Like IBIT requires trust. Again, a government issued fiat Bitcoin backed currency would require trust. Even I mean, Lightning has its own way of being trust minimized as well. But there is some trust. I mean, you get into any sort of custodial situation, it starts to require trust, and a lot of uh, people that hate on Bitcoin will point as that as oh, these are failures of Bitcoin. But I think again, this doesn't actually affect Bitcoin on the base layer. These are secondary layers where there is more trust needed, where there is the ability to create things like privacy, all sorts of you can mess around on the layer twos, and it's not completely a catastrophic event for the Bitcoin network. Like even the Lightning network could literally, there could be a bug in it that destroys it. It would affect lots of people, it would affect lots of Bitcoin holders, but it would not affect the Bitcoin network. And
I think that's
so, yeah.
I think that's the key, right? Even if it's a global network, let's say for example, if we use it globally and there's people trusting a some kind of custodian within their own countries, let's say one custodian blows up, that doesn't affect every custodian. Whereas with the US
Yes.
dollar, everything is everything is intertwined, everything is just working together. There's no see the other difference with Bitcoin is that you have a choice. Right? You said, Forrest, you said there you can use Lightning.
Hmm.
With the US dollar, you can hold on to US dollars, but again, the US government has control over that. They can. Did you guys know in India? So they had 1,000 rupee notes, and they outlawed them. And they
Yeah.
said that you have to come to a bank to give us your 1,000 rupee notes, and you can now take back 500 or
They
lower.
they just deemed them worthless.
Yeah,
And then they
exactly.
they said, "Well, they're worthless to use. We won't accept them, but you can bring them to a bank and digitize them or
Yeah.
whatever, and then have that amount of value."
So how do you know that the US government isn't going to do that? Like, hey, you have cash, you have to give us your cash and take back CBDCs. Otherwise, using and accepting these old coins or these old notes is illegal. Can't do that with Bitcoin. You can't
Th-
stop somebody from using Bitcoin. It also removes that um that what's it called? The contagion.
Yeah.
The contagion is the most important thing. So let's say, for example, we go to a Bitcoin standard. Every central bank has Bitcoin. Let's say one central bank is playing fiat games and they mess up and they don't have enough Bitcoin to account for the liabilities that they have, and they go bankrupt. It's not like every other central bank is going to go bankrupt. It's just one. It allows everybody, even central banks, to have self sovereignty. It makes it so that one bank failing won't make every single bank in the world fail. So instead of, let's say, for example, we had the situation with the great financial crash, instead of it being a global event, it would have been restricted to whoever is actually affected by it. So let's say, for example, in the US, they had Lehman Brothers that got
Mhm.
affected by it. Lehman Brothers would go bankrupt, and then every company that they have deals with would go bankrupt. But that's the consequence of playing fiat games.
Yeah.
With fiat, The issue is that the issue is that governments can basically transfer that risk, and they can have taxpayers pay for the consequences, whereas the companies continue to survive.
Yeah, privatize gains, public losses.
Yeah.
Or socialized losses. I mean, those are all really great points. And one other one I would just add is as you said there with the rupee, that is the base layer of the fiat system within India is the rupee, and that base layer, that layer one, those bills requires a huge amount of trust, and it's the same with every other fiat currency. So the base layer already requires way more trust than anything Bitcoin related, and then there's additional layers on top of that. There's the banking, the digital side of it. Are you using Stripe, PayPal, Swift, wire transfers? All of these are like additional layers on the fiat currency that require even more trust. And essentially, we've seen throughout history that we shouldn't have trust in those institutions. We shouldn't have trust in the government with fiat currency. We shouldn't have trust in the Federal Reserve. We shouldn't have trust in these systems. They're not worthy of our trust because they've broken that trust in the past. And again, socialized the losses and privatized the gains. And we can just opt out of that into a more fair system that requires less trust, and it's called Bitcoin.
I like how we started the show today saying we're talking to Bitcoiners, and then we still get into telling everybody why Bitcoin's the best.
Yeah, I think Bitcoiners need to know
we
that.
Can't help ourselves.
A lot of
really hard not
Bitcoiners
to.
don't quite understand those concepts, and I think it's important. Even Bitcoiners need to I took a long time to understand this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw a comment here from Jambobsky and said, guys, be honest. When the fiat system dies, gold and silver have always been the monetary system reset. This has happened thousands of years. Why is this time going to be any different? I mean, it's a pretty easy answer there, right?
We've never had a reset during the time of Bitcoin.
Correct.
Plain and simple.
It's forced for 500.
Yeah, something like Bitcoin has never existed.
Yeah. Never.
There's never been a form of money that you can store in your head. You can use a hardware wallet to generate a private key to get a seed phrase. You can memorize that seed phrase. You can write it on a piece of paper, and then you can go wherever you want to.
Anyway.
If somebody sees, nobody knows that you have it. Whereas with gold, let's say, for example, you wanted to carry around $500,000 worth of gold. Somebody's going to see it.
And then it turns out it's not even real gold.
But you're pretty jacked because you've been hauling around $500,000 worth of gold on your back.
That's true.
So you probably have pretty big calves. But yeah, I mean, I really think that that's why, like, the whole thing here, the whole thesis here is like, yeah, we've never had an asset like this before. So of course, it's going to take a very long time for people to figure out what makes it so valuable, because it's so much different than anything we've ever seen before, not only in our lifetime, but however long humans have been here. We've never had anything like Bitcoin before.
Yeah. There's this scene in Mr. Robot, the TV show Mr. Robot, where basically the hackers created or destroyed like the current financial system, and they were trying to get everybody back onto a digital crypto dollar. This show came out a long time ago, and they were seeing Bitcoin as the real threat to that. And this is like, a story narrative, but it's absolutely true. And we are actually seeing that right now. We're going to see a push towards CBDCs. We're going to see a push towards stable coins, which are not central bank digital currencies, but private bank digital currencies, which is exactly the same thing. It's controlled money. It's, again, backed by nothing except treasury bills, which is backed by nothing except debt creation. This is the two ends of the spectrum. Are you going to fight and hold Bitcoin, hold the private keys to your own Bitcoin, or are you going to submit and hold digital cryptocurrency, stable coins, and CBDCs? That's the question of our generation right now, I think.
Yeah. And I think if you ask most people, I don't think anybody would argue the fact that that's coming.
Yeah.
Like even people who are kind of out to lunch with everything here, they'll tell you that we're probably going to have digital currencies, CBDCs, PBDCs, whatever you want to call them. But then you have to ask yourself, And most people are also going under the assumption that we're going to have UBI at some point, which is universal basic income, which checks out because there's going to be a lot of people who aren't working anymore because of the technology innovations and advancements that we're living through right now. So yes, I think that there are going to be CBDCs, PBDCs, UBI, whatever other abbreviations you want to throw out there, and they're going to be giving money to people. But just imagine a world like that where, as Forrest said, it's going to be kind of a split there where are you going to do it yourself and take sovereignty over your life? Or are you going to submit and say, I'll take some money here? But you have to remember that you're probably going to have to follow their rules. If you're going down that road and you want some free handouts, you're going to have to live by their rules. And maybe not right off the bat, because they probably are going to try to entice everybody for their CBDCs. And so I might even get some. I haven't taken a dime from the government for probably 6 years now between GST and carbon tax and all the other BS. But just imagine where there's fake money that everybody can see. They're handing this money out to everybody. And then there's real money, which takes real life energy, physical energy to create. What's going to happen there? People are going to start taking their fake money and turning it into real money. And what's going to happen to the exchange rate of Bitcoin? It's going to go ballistic. It's not a matter of if, it's just when, how long it takes, I guess, for this whole thing to roll out. And they're completely different things, even though the average person will see them as you can send money magically. Behind the scenes, they are two completely different systems.
I think if we think about universal basic income, UBI, it's not going to be paid in Bitcoin. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So what is it going to be paid in? Is it going to be paid in just a regular stable coin that then you could just transfer to Bitcoin and there's just one extra step in between? Even that, I feel like it's unlikely. It's going to be way more restrictive than that. Like if we look at like what food stamps are, you're supposed to only be able to use those for certain things.
Yeah.
And they can even do that even more with programmed like a government state type stable coin, which it's programmed to be attached to your digital identity. It's programmed to only be able to be transferred to certain entities. You can't sell it on the black market, even peer to peer, and exchange it for Bitcoin. It's going to be hyper restrictive, and maybe it'll start off not that way, but it will lead that way.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way they can continue to have control over something that they can print for free and create inflation with. That's basically it, right? That's why Bitcoin is such a threat. That's why its transparency is a feature, not a bug. It's because it is the only, and the cost of production, all these different features of Bitcoin that we all know about. That is all built into that system so that nobody can create it for free. No one can create more of it, and that takes the power away from the system that we live in today with fiat.
The money exchangers.
Yeah, and I feel like they're not going to give that up easily. And there's going to be some tricks, and yeah, maybe, as George said, maybe we can accept a UBI a little bit and exchange it for Bitcoin or whatever. But at first, maybe, and I think that would be a good trade. It's almost like an airdrop, right? Like it's like getting BCH for all the Bitcoin you hold. Yeah, let's sell that right away. Get more Bitcoin. But yeah.
I think just kind of tying it back to where we started the show today, in this aspect, anyways, is like that we're kind of focused around the fiat price or the fiat exchange rate of Bitcoin, the highs and lows of that. But I think, Forrest, you just mentioned something there that's absolutely true in the sense that they're not going to let go of this control easily. They've had this control for a very long time. And so I think part of practicing something like stoicism, whatever you want to call it, is being prepared for that kind of stuff. And I think as Bitcoiners, as humans before Bitcoin, we were kind of taught this expression called hope for the best and prepare for the worst. But I think for Bitcoiners, we actually have to be preparing for the best and preparing for the worst. Because if this thing works out, man, people are not going to be able to fathom how much wealth they have. And people like me, who never came from a bunch of wealth, they have no idea how to manage it. They have no idea how to manage not only their emotions, but like the people in their life, their location, everything like that. So I think that this is really something that Bitcoiners have to start thinking about, because it is coming either way. And as they push back, as it gets harder, I think if you can practice not getting as low and not getting as high, it is going to help get you through those valleys of pushback from the centralized system.
In New York, they actually started doing a CBDC kind of program, UBI. So they have 160 New Yorkers getting 12,000 USDC each. So they already started it, which is pretty crazy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it'll work. I'm not sure if they'll keep it going for a long time. But have you guys heard that quote? If we had a complete reset and then everybody got, let's say, $100 in the world, the money would eventually go back to the same people, and that's
Yeah.
because of mindset. Because there
Yeah.
are people who are
And
creators,
skills.
right? And there are people who are creators, who are builders, who just have that mindset of producing, whereas there are other people who are consumers and they have the mindset of consuming. And there's nothing wrong with consumption. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that the wealth will eventually be funneled right back to the exact same people, even with UBI. If anything, UBI is a way to break the middle class, because the middle class probably won't benefit from it. The people who will benefit the most, well, the people who benefit the most will be at the top. The people who benefit the second most will be at the bottom, because the wealth is being redistributed from the people in the middle
Yeah.
to the people at the bottom, and then those people at the bottom need to spend. And where are they going to spend? They're going to spend at the companies owned by the people at the top.
What do you guys think about UBI in the sense of Forrest? You kind of mentioned there that there would be for specific things. Like I would actually, if I voted, which I don't, but if I did, I would vote for something like that, where if people are actually getting, if they actually need food stamps, if they need something, they should have to spend that on food stamps. They shouldn't be able to turn around and sell for $20 and go buy a bottle of liquor for it. So I think that system is absolutely coming. And that's kind of where I started the thing. I said, you're gonna have to choose, right? Forrest, you said the same thing. You're either going to be sovereign and you're going to fight on your own and not take shit from anybody, but also not take shit from anybody, or you're going to have to play by their rules. And their rules are going to be what you can and can't spend those tokens on. And to me, if people are getting free handouts and they're deciding to be the lion in the cage, then they shouldn't have any freedom of how they spend it. It should be on food. They're not just stamps, they're
And not
food
junk
stamps.
food. It should be actual food. Like it should be fruits, vegetables, real foods.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I mean, that is a question that I could answer, but to me, it goes back one other layer. It's just nothing is free. Why is somebody getting something for free? Where is that money actually coming from? How are they getting even those goods for something that is given to them for free? It feels pretty irresponsible to me to have a nation that has a debt to GDP of like 120
Yeah.
and to be giving anything out for free. I mean, that's like me maxing out 10 credit cards and still buying drinks for everybody at the bar. It doesn't make any sense. Like, unfortunately, the everybody in basically the government leading up to now, and all the past has led to a position where we're not able to give away free shit. Like, that's the unfortunate reality, and the more we do that, the worse it gets. So we're just digging ourselves into a hole. Does that mean austerity? Does that mean a full reset? I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's like there's problems before the fact of what can you spend this
That's true.
services on, I guess.
And I think most people's argument would be, well, there's people out there who just can't physically work. And I do think that at one point that made sense. I agree with you, Forrest, that I don't think the government are the people who should be in charge of distributing that and taking a large portion of that, and other people are paying for that essentially, because that's where the money's coming from. The government doesn't have any products and services that they sell. They just steal from people. So along those lines, though, I think that it's a different world now, because somebody who wasn't able to physically work on like a production line or in construction or something like that 20 years ago. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the right answer is there. I think that they probably maybe had the right intentions, but now we're moving from a world where it's less of a physical labor economy. And because we have robots and we have AI to help us, we're turning into like an attention economy. And I think that any person on the planet, regardless of what your physical capabilities are, if you can be entertaining and you can just go on a live stream like we're doing right now, like this doesn't require any sort of physical labor or anything like that. So I agree with you in the sense that I think there's less excuses now in this world that we're moving into for people not being able to work. But there are still some exceptions. So I'm not going to say black and white here for sure. I think there's a gray area there, but point is like things could be 1,000 times better than they are today.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world of abundance and we've created hyper efficiencies as humans, and we're collective and we have empathy and sympathy for other human beings. So there is all of those concepts do create the ability to create safety nets and help for others that need help. However, there's this other caveat of if you look at a bird, for instance, a bird that can't build a nest, that can't dig for worms, dies.
That's nature.
That's nature. It's a harsh nature is very, very tough. Nature does not give you anything for free. There is energetic cost to everything within nature. So to move away from that, to move to something where we do, like I said, we have empathy, we have abundance. It goes against fundamental laws of nature because there is a cost to that still, even if it's not as much as it would have been prior to the technological advances that we have. So yeah, we do live in a world where we could create these services, but how they get created, how they get implemented, who they take from, does all needs to be basically rebuilt in a way.
Well, because the system that we live in right now is pretty much the exact opposite of nature.
Yeah.
Like nature is survival of the fittest, the value added economy. We live in a world where the people who actually add the least amount of value extract the most value from people who do add value. Like it's completely backwards.
It's the top and the bottom, right? Again, it's the extractive classes are at the top and the bottom, and the middle is getting extracted as Rajat mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And the top that's extracting is like the financial class, like the people that are close to the money printer, right?
And the politicians.
Yeah, and the politicians
that don't actually add value to the world, but think that they can extract it from everybody else who are the ones providing the value, and they get to be the distributors of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even governments, like if you look back 100 years ago, maybe it made sense for some small group of centralized people to collect and distribute, maybe. But like we have technology now where we don't need these clowns anymore, for one. And so they're not only do we not need them anymore, like if you look at the government in Canada, I'm pretty sure they've added like close to 1 million government workers in the last decade, which is just insane. So not only are they way too fat, way too extractive, but they're adding to themselves. And when they add, the more they add to it, the harder it is for it's going to be to stop it.
Well, it's also like, where's the accountability, right? If we're going to build these systems, and there's 1 in 4 people or some crazy metric like that work for the government, where they're so far away from the problems that we have that government systems could solve. So what am I going to write a letter to somebody? Am I going to vote and have no impact? It's just
protest.
Yeah, like how though, like how do you create accountability for these systems that are built to separate the individuals within them from the people that they're supposed to be helping? And there's no way to keep anybody accountable within that system. It's basically built to do that.
Did you guys see that there was a video I saw of this woman who was talking about SNAP, and she was saying how she needs it to survive.
What's SNAP?
And
SNAP
is the food benefits, the food stamps. So she was saying how she needs it to survive. And I don't know if she said it on purpose or if she said it by accident, but she was like, I've been on this program for 30 years.
Wow.
30 years. How do you keep somebody on this program for 30 years? How do you let them stay?
How do you get them off it? That's the question that I want to know.
You can't.
And that's what we see here in Canada.
They're used to not working. Somebody here said, he said, so Florida Swamp Monkey said here, if you can push carts at Walmart, you can work 15 to 20 hours a week to earn a place in this world and earn your food stamps. And if you don't, you should no longer receive them. Completely agree. If you're disabled, that's different. If you have mean, people can even there are people who are disabled who are working at Walmart as greeters, for example, right? And I think the way that I see it, even people who are disabled, I think Bitcoiners are generous enough that they will contribute to them. They'll want to help them. Like, have you seen those programs where people, let's say somebody needs help and they're accepting Bitcoin? I've seen wallets go up like crazy. Even Bitcoiners even give
Right.
money to Peter Schiff. They gave Peter Schiff like 5 million satoshis.
Well, that guy needs a lot of help, though. But I don't think
He
financial
does.
help. I think he just needs a lot of mental help.
Yeah.
So I had on the Tuesday stream I did, we watched a video of an 88-year-old guy, and I thought of you, Rajat, actually, because he was 88 years old, and he was working at Home Depot or something like that.
Oh yeah, I saw
Because he
that.
had to, because
Yeah.
he worked for General Motors, and they went bankrupt, and he lost his entire pension. He lost all of his health benefits. The only thing he had left from that was a $10,000 life insurance program. Anyways, I was like, well, let's just see what happens here. So I was like, well, let's try to raise some Bitcoin here for Ed. And we raised, like, on my little channel, we raised over 100,000 sats from people who just wanted to help. So I think that
Well,
just proves your point. Like, it's not a theoretical thing.
I found the
Interesting.
video.
It's nuts. So
It's so sad.
yeah, if you don't have a Kleenex near you, maybe you want to pull one out here.
Just seeing if I could have help scanning this. Thank you. What was your name?
Ed.
I'm Sam.
Okay.
I actually had someone nominate you from this store and said you're very hardworking.
Well, I try to be.
May I ask how old you are
I'm 88.
and still
88.
working?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Why do you have to keep working?
Retired from General Motors in 99. 2012, I went bankrupt and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
She passed away 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
She was sick when I lost my pension.
So you've been struggling a bit?
A little bit.
You said that you lost your pension?
Yes, sir, I did. I was in the Army back in 66.
So you're a veteran too?
Yes. The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick. And they, when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage.
Yeah.
And all but $10,000 of my life insurance.
Oh my gosh.
So I sold the house, sold the property I had, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
And you're working here how many days a week?
I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
And you do that because you have to, or
Yeah, I don't have enough income
what's your dream?
to live somewhat the life I was hoping for.
Like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. You're amazing.
I'll pause it there. I think the key takeaway here is that you don't want to be in somebody else's control.
Yeah.
Like General Motors, he handed his future to General Motors. He said, "Hey, if you guys can support my future, then I'll keep living." And the worst case scenario for him was that he lived too long. That's really sad.
Mhm.
He could have, like, if he died earlier, it would have been better for him because he wouldn't have to work part time. I mean, he sounds really sad. He was crying on the video, and you don't want to be in that situation. That's the situation you want to avoid, right? That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. If you're working at Walmart at 88 years old, like this is something that I talk about all the time. People are gonna be dying on the Walmart floor.
Yeah.
He's near that age.
Any
Yeah.
day he could, right? I mean, 88 is beyond the average, right? So yeah, I mean, heartbreaking video. But yeah, I mean, we've been talking about sort of like the food stamps and SNAP and all this kind of stuff. And Rajat mentioned the woman on SNAP for 30 years. These people are under the control of those programs, right? They rely on those programs, and they don't want to be like that. I don't think, like, I mean, maybe some people don't think about it much that are receiving it, but I think that if you press them, if you asked a couple questions, they'd probably say, "Oh yeah, it would be nice to be more independent and not feel under so reliant on a system that could change." Right? Like, this is that video of Ed. He was reliant on a system that changed. Right? That company went bankrupt and took everything from him and completely changed his entire life trajectory at a certain age there. So it's about, to me, if we're going to be funding anything, these programs should be incredibly temporary, and there should be way more funding in the systems of rehabilitation into society, basically, and more self-reliance. But these programs, they want more people to be reliant on them, because that
Yes,
just
that's
means
the
more
problem.
funding. That means more jobs for people within that, and orchestrating, and more control, and all sorts of stuff. So the incentives, right? Show me the incentives, I'll show you the outcome. The incentives is for more of these programs, right? More government, and not less. So yeah, we need to rework that entirely. People should be, these people, everybody in the government should be actively working at making their job irrelevant and unnecessary in the next year, right? That's what their goal should be, but it's not. It's quite the opposite.
It's
the
conflict of
opposite of
interest.
nature. Sorry, go ahead, Rajat. What do you got
I
here?
was just going to say it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy.
Look at that.
our 100,000 sats isn't going to go far in there
It depends when he, withdraws them and
when he
uses
sells it.
them. Yeah.
This
Great
is pretty
point.
crazy. Like this is just random people contributing to him.
61,000 donations.
Yeah.
incredible.
Somebody sent him 10 grand. 10 grand.
Somebody
Wow.
sent 21 grand.
I think
To
it's Bill
ours.
Ackman, right?
What's that?
That's Bill Ackman.
Oh yeah, yeah, it would be.
10 grand. It's crazy. Anonymous. Look
amazing.
at that. $1,500 anonymous. $1,800 anonymous. 1,800. 2,000. It's crazy. But I think this is what shows you that people are generous. Like people who have money, they're generous if their wealth isn't being stolen from them.
Yes.
If
And
they weren't
we
forced-
don't need the government to do that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of generous donors, man, we got a lot of thousands coming in here today, boys. We got a CYM zap of 2,100 sats, which is as good as $2,500 in our eyes. Anonymous zap of 6,969.
Nice.
The mega maple zap of the day so far. 6,969. Somebody sent
Top
in
donor spot.
What's that?
Top donor spot.
Top donor spot. 6,969. Nice. 1,000 sats. Somebody said stack those sats. Respect. No name. Anonymous with a nice message there. And we got a lot of people watching over on Zapstream today. We got some zaps from Sin Diesel, 1845, Chief White, 1,000 FUs, MS Heath, Conrad, Mateo, and Isometza. So thank you everybody very much for the support for this channel. Much appreciated. Yeah. Where do we go from here, boys? Now that I'm crying, thanks a lot, Rajat.
No problem.
But yeah, I mean, I think you said it best there. It's like it's a combination of both the fiat system deteriorating, the fact that 88, even people who didn't have their pension stolen from them, they're still 80-year-old people who are working because they have to, because whatever they had saved up, whatever fixed income that they're on, just isn't cutting it.
Mhm.
And the other part of that too is Ed was rugged. Ed got rugged by General Motors. It's plain and simple. He put his life's worth in the hands of General Motors, and they rugged him. And I'm sure the executives there in the management team, I'm sure they're doing all right now. Meanwhile, the guys like Ed, they're still working. So it's pretty sick, honestly. But anyways, let's shift gears here a bit. What do you guys want to go from here?
Any
should
questions?
we talk about the community, the masterclass that we made?
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Sick.
It was a good one. Do you want to bring it up?
Lots of good response from the school community members. They loved it.
Yeah, so we did. We've been trying to do master classes, we call them, on our Maple Bitcoin School, which is the three of us. We get together once a week for a couple hours. Some of them end up on YouTube. Some of them end up on our school. So these are the exclusive videos that we make, and we actually got a pretty good collection growing here now. And we just made one the other day. Cash and Bitcoin. What was the idea here?
So I made a video not too long ago with the idea that all you need is cash and Bitcoin. You don't need any other assets. And the three of us expanded on that topic in this video and used MicroStrategy's $1.44 billion cash reserve as an example. And we just went deep into it. We explained why cash and Bitcoin are the best assets to have. So just we went into a couple different topics, and just a quick overview. There's we thought of something. Jor brought up something called the dumbbell
Barbell
approach,
Yeah, same thing.
where you have barbell approach. You're right. So you have cash for your short-term expenses. You have let's say a business for your medium-term expenses, and you have Bitcoin for your long-term expenses. I mean, we pretty much expanded on that, and I thought it was great.
I actually made a little thumbnail here, Rajat. You kind of made one during the show there, but this was the idea of it. If I can, I might have to take yours down here for a
Stop
second.
sharing, yeah.
I realized I made it for the video, and then I was like, well, it doesn't really matter about the thumbnail on there. So this is
I like it.
This is what it was. Added a little bit more color, little B on there.
Love it.
You got cash on one side, your kind of security, and then your income, and then of course your moonshot here, which is your Bitcoin. So something, me personally, I've been for the last year, so I've been pretty on the offense, as Rajat referred to in the video. We were kind of doing the offense, defense, barbell strategy. It's kind of a combination of all three of these ideas, but really good conversation. I think that if you were going to ever invest $30 into anything, I think that video could actually make a pretty big impact on the way you make decisions in the future and the way that you change your stacking strategy. Maybe again, I've been pretty much all offense, all in on Bitcoin, just like Sailor was with strategy, buying as much as you can. But I'm starting to see things a little bit differently now, and I think that going forward, I'm not going to sell any of my Bitcoin, obviously, but I think I might shift kind of my my ratio between cash, fiat, or I shouldn't say fiat, but cash equivalents and the Bitcoin, the moonshot there. So you're going to get that video plus, what were all those other ones there? Do you want to bring that up again, Rajat? Because there's that was just one of the masterclass videos that we have on there.
Yeah, let me bring it up in a second.
There's a whole thing in terms of like the most optimized way to buy Bitcoin, best ways to store your private keys, like a full breakdown on that. Wasn't that like an hour and a bit? Oh, sorry, 43 minutes. And then the next three are what is Bitcoin, part 1, part 2, part 3, which is just like a really good way to understand behind the curtains of what's happening in Bitcoin to gain your conviction. And even tying this back to where we started the show today, if you have greater conviction in Bitcoin, it really helps with that, right? Because it's going to be a lot easier for you to not get as low when you understand Bitcoin at a very deep level. And that's what we wanted to try to do at these 3 episodes here. Plus, we got the Bitcoin as collateral. We got some MSTR covered calls. And then the last one there is our cash and Bitcoin barbell strategy. So that's all available exclusively in the Maple Bitcoin School. And we're actually going to have a little happy hour, which I got this in the reserve, in the holster for our happy hour today. And there's like 20 episodes on there that we've, you get access to all those if you join as a member. You get everything on there. No restrictions. We got more.
And the happy hour is in 30 minutes. We're going to do that. And we're still running a trial that you can join the happy hour with the trial. Right. Is that right?
Yeah.
So the trial is slightly restrictive. You don't have access to the master classes with it. You can skip the trial if you want, but you do get access to the live, which is not a live like this. You can actually hop on with your own camera, your own mic, and ask us questions, and it's much more intimate. You'll get your questions answered, and we can talk on there a lot more about things that we couldn't talk about on YouTube as well.
Yeah, we've had some great topics in those happy hours.
Yeah.
I would say the happy hours alone, if you can allocate some time over the holidays, you're going to round out your knowledge very well in Bitcoin. A lot of different tricks, strategies, experiences, lessons we've learned in there. It's pretty good stuff. So, we got some, anybody want to buy some ALX 2049 tokens? So there's the QR code on screen there. You can scan that, or if you're watching this on your phone, you can just go to school.com/Maple Bitcoin and join us. Join the boys. And actually, while we're, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just never understood the scam coins with a bunch of like numbers and X's and
Yeah.
stuff. To me, it's just like, well, that's obviously a scam. Like way more than any of the other ones.
What's even the point? Like, why waste any time trying to? I
It's
guess
just
maybe 1 in a
bots.
million.
It's just Python bots, I guess. So it's like
Yeah, no cost.
the cost to spam is nothing almost.
Right.
Can we ban that person
Yeah, we should.
so they don't show up next time? I don't know who's trying. They're not from mine.
Not mine either.
Oh, who's it then? Mine?
Yours.
Must be.
I think
Yours,
it is. Josh sent a couple 67s here. 6-7. Thank you, Josh. From Work Save Bitcoin.
Nice.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
6-7?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. That's the joke.
It's trying to break your brains.
Yeah, what a youth we got going on right now. But if you think of some of the trends that we had back in the day when I was a kid, I actually just learned that I'm the old guy of the group here. I didn't know that. I'm the wise man of the group here. But if you think about some of the trends that we had back when we were kids, like they were pretty stupid too. We didn't have the ability to go viral with it though. Thankfully.
True. Yeah.
Although I have a video on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's a group of me and my friends. We're like 12 years old, probably 10 to 12 years old. And this was like the Jackass days.
Oh yeah.
So we had like our own version of Jackass, like in our neighborhood there. Our neighbors hated us.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing.
Did you?
Yep. YouTube channel got removed, but we had tons of videos.
Really?
Tons. Yeah. Lighting stuff on fire, jumping off buildings, shopping
that's good
carts,
stuff.
everything. It was good fun. That was my teenage years.
That's pretty funny. I never did anything crazy like that.
No. Jackass was huge back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
Very inspired. Yeah.
Here's somebody who's part of the Maple School community. Said Sin said these videos are just scratching the surface of the value provided from joining the Maple community. Good live testimonial there. And Philip says forced self-custody video was very helpful. Okay. What are you guys thinking now? We got about 20 minutes left here. What's been on your brain for the last little while in terms of Bitcoin? Have you guys made any videos that really stuck with people, or any different new thoughts that you had pop in your brain? Or if there's any good questions, throw them in the chat. We didn't have time to start, and we were pretty engaged in our conversation today. But what do you guys? What's been on your mind?
Oh, do you guys think that Michael Burry knows what he's talking about when he calls Bitcoin tulip?
Tulip.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I saw a tweet actually that was great about this. It said actually the tulip is Michael Burry because he had one good call,
True,
and then collapsed, right? And you know,
It's
he
so
made
funny.
like basically, I think his hedge fund made like 100 million or something like that from this trade.
That's it.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean,
It.
it's only a certain size, right? And it was a big, massive speculative bet at the time. So from then, he's had a huge amount of unsuccessful trades. He's bet against AI this whole time, while AI is, you know, AI has been in a bubble for like 3 years now. Like it's, yeah. Anyway, so he bet against Palantir, he bet against Nvidia, all this stuff. So how much of that 100 million does he have left?
One hit wonder.
And that's really the tulip. Like the people
Right.
call Bitcoin a tulip, which absolutely makes no sense, because the tulip bubble mania was tulips were like worth a certain amount, and then rare tulips and certain tulips and certificates of next year's tulip harvest and all sorts of crazy stuff raised the value of tulips like a ton, and then it collapsed within a very short period of time back to its relative value of those tulips. So it was one major spike up. It was not what Bitcoin does, which is, you know, has a euphoric hype bubble, then the bubble deflates, and then again and again and again, which is just normal for, you know, an insane technological breakthrough in its adoption cycle in the early years. Like that's really what it is that we're seeing, not anywhere close to what the tulip bubble was.
I think the Bitcoin, if I might be wrong about this, somebody might have to fact check me, but if I'm not mistaken, Bitcoin is the only asset that's gone up, dropped more than 80%, and then recovered to its all-time high again 4 times.
I think you're
So
right. Yeah.
The tulip mania was just that happened once, and then it dropped and never came back down. Bitcoin went up, dropped 80%, and then came back to its all-time high, the height of it, and that happened 4 times. And Bitcoin is now, or it has been, I don't know if it still is, any asset that's ever been had a $2 trillion market cap has never failed before. That doesn't mean it won't, but you can't compare something that shot up once and came down and never returned to something where it happened 4 times. That's it. They're 2 totally different things. If it happened twice, it'd be a little bit more comparative, but 4 times, 2 completely different things.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense.
It is nonsense. It's the dumbest comparison, and it keeps getting brought up. I don't know why. It's just, it literally, like, it looks nothing like it. Makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, tulips are relatively stable and worth something still at this point. Like, it's not like a pump and, like, there are pump and dumps, but they literally become worth nothing at a certain point.
Right.
Those are more in line with what a tulip bubble is, but even still, like, the tulip mania in Holland that happened also created, I believe, like, hundreds of years of the tulip industry thriving in Holland. Like, that's a huge part of their economy. So I don't know, just, it doesn't make sense on any metric.
It's just a buzzword,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It happened once and then it went away, and people just believe that that's what every bubble is. But I mean, Bitcoin's not a bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other thoughts on him? I mean, that's just the one thing that I agreed with, that I saw, is that, yeah, he's more of the tulip bubble than Bitcoin ever is.
I think he got lucky. Got lucky with his call.
I don't know if lucky is the play. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not the play. Clearly he knew what he was talking about there, and he bet on it, and he was right.
Yeah. He was right.
Would that be luck, or would that be just a one-hit wonder, like a tulip bulb?
Yeah, he was right. I mean, he wasn't wrong about it. I mean, he's been wrong. I mean, he's predicted 10 out of the last 2 recessions, right? Like, he's been wrong those 8 times. So
10,000 out of the last 2.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, if it is luck, he's been unlucky. He's been incredibly unlucky and had one moment of luck. But yeah, I would just say he's incredibly bearish, shorting the market, but never shorting Bitcoin, even though he thinks it's a tulip. So, put your money where your mouth is.
I mean, he kind of supporting Rajat on this one. He kind of was lucky in the sense of, like, even though he was right and he bet on it, I think he was still kind of lucky in the sense of how the timing all worked out for it. Because governments, as we've seen in the past, do have the ability to kick the can down the road. Yeah. And at that point, he bet on it. He was right. Like, all his information was correct. But it still got to the point where they essentially let him be right. Like, I feel like they could have probably done something. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking on my butt here, but even now it's like, I feel like I'm right about Bitcoin. I put in the work, but just because everything else hasn't played out in my favor, that doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. It's just the world hasn't adapted to my theory yet. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, well, I've never read that much into it. I have watched The Big Short, and he was wrong for, like, I think it was like 2 years or something like that. So it's kind of the same thing. Or one thing that I would say about that is just that, bears are never wrong. They're just not right yet. Right.
Yeah.
So they're just the timing is off slightly. And it's kind of the same thing with Bitcoin too. Like, we're not right. It's sort of like the Schrodinger's cat of both possibilities happening until you open up the box. Yeah, I mean, you're right you're wrong until you're right. And yeah, basically that's part of why there's so many financial gurus and influencers that can make absolutely terrible predictions and then just sort of hide it and say other things and still have trust within the community for some reason. It's crazy. But I would say that that's similar with Michael Burry, right? He was right once. There was a movie, literally a movie made about him, a Hollywood movie starring huge actors, and he's been wrong all the other times. And now he's making he made like $2 million on the first day of his like private Substack or whatever it is newsletter. And that's to him, not his hedge fund. So
Right.
he's happy.
I feel like Saylor's kind of in the same shoes as Michael Burry right now, in the sense of everybody thinks he's wrong, and it might not play out for him. And that's kind of where I was going with it, is like, even though we know that Saylor's right to short the fiat system by buying Bitcoin, creating all these financial products around it, that doesn't mean that he's going to be, at the end of the day, something could happen. Like, who knows? Even though all of his theories and everything that he's doing, it appears to be brilliant, from our perspective here, something could happen outside of his control that makes him not right. So I think that's where there was a little bit of luck maybe component to it. I want to address this dipshit here, Hardwired BM. I see Rajat's kind of going back and forth. He said, address my comments. They're telling you to remortgage your house and sell your kidneys. Well, nobody said sell your kidneys, for one. But the other thing too is, like, if you understand financial, if you have any sort of financial literacy, if you're paying 3.5% interest rate and you can get a 5 to 10 year loan on that, and historically Bitcoin has returned between 30, 40, 50% a year, that's a pretty big spread. So we're not saying it's 100% going to work out, but it appears to be a pretty good bet. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you.
It's an interest rate carry trade. It's the same. It's, Japan is the margin for the world because their lending is so cheap, and they're doing that exact trade. Should you do it as an individual? Well, you should assess your own personal finances and decide for yourself. That option exists out there, and Bitcoin is the best vehicle for that. If you have the ability to have a long-term loan, which, again, going back to Saylor, like, yeah, some existential crisis could happen that would make him wrong, but he's done everything that I can see to make sure that they're as safe as possible, right?
Yep.
It's 4 years away before any of their debt actually becomes due. They're using preferred equity, which they could suspend at any single point because it's not debt, it's equity. They have 650,000 Bitcoin. Like, it's just on and on and on. Like, now they have this cash reserve too. So it's like, he is mitigating as many risks as possible while holding as much Bitcoin as possible, which people are seeing as risky, but he'll be proved right if Bitcoin is proved right. And that's the same idea for an individual too.
Where'd Forrest go?
My camera overheated.
Oh, yeah, I mean but Forrest, that's what I mean, is like, you're saying that he's doing everything right in his control.
Yeah.
But I'm saying something could happen outside of even if he did everything right and he was right about everything, there could be something that happens outside of his control that would make him look like he did something wrong. You know what I mean?
For sure. Sure. But I mean, why worry about anything that you can't control? That is
exactly
a black swan. It's just
exactly. I agree with that.
No reason to do that.
And that's actually, again, going back to the whole theme here today, is like, that's pretty much what Stoicism teaches you, is like, you can't stress out about things that are outside of your own control.
Yeah.
Anyways,
focus on what you can control and do the best within that realm.
Exactly. And it appears that's what he's doing here. We've seen some, he's Dark Forest. We've seen some chats here about this clip, so we want to share this here quickly for the Schiff and CZ debate.
We've got no audio.
We can get that up to stage. Yeah, Ting, come over.
Yeah.
Today is actually the first time meeting Ting. Ting is actually a KOL for Aster. Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you, Ting. It's pretty heavy. So I have a nice box here.
What is that?
It has some. I think it's Kyrgyz language. I took it back from Kyrgyzstan. He has a certificate. I got this from a very important person from Kyrgyzstan. Very recently. Just completely by luck. So we take it out. It's pretty heavy. I'll put this down. You can see, like it says, Kyrgyzstan, 1,000 grams, fine gold, 99.9.9, and a serial number. Try it.
Yes. Yeah, it's heavy.
Is it real gold or no?
Well, I don't know. I mean, is this what you're trying to? I mean, let's see how it looks. Well, the color is a little. This is pure gold. My bracelet is pure gold, so the color looks a little off.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it probably maybe it's not real gold.
It's given to me by a really important person.
Well, I know, but this is not a mint that I would recognize. I mean, the thing about mints is if you know the name of the company that minted it and you trust them because they have a reputation in the market that they want to protect.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, I've never heard of any of this, so I would have to probably assay it to know if this was real gold. But the color looks a little off compared to my bracelet because this,
It might be your bracelet that's a little off. I don't know. So
it depends. Are you giving it to me?
I see.
Is it a gift?
This is the thing. I wouldn't.
Because if it's a gift, then I know it's. If you're not going to give it to me, it's probably no gold. If it's a gift, then maybe it's.
How much is this worth? Like one kg of gold right now?
Well, gold's about $4,200 an ounce.
So
that would probably be $50,000. I don't know. Do the math, but I mean, it seems like a lot of gold if it was real.
AI told me it's like 130,000 ish. 130K ish.
What?
Right or not wrong?
No, gold. Well, gold is, as I said, it's about $4,200 an ounce.
Okay.
And what is that?
It's 1 kg. So I don't know.
A kilogram? How many ounces in a kilogram? 32?
132?
Huh? 30?
132K? All right. See,
so
I would want to give you. It's 130. I don't want to give the whole piece. I can give a little bit, but I can't
Well, that's why you tokenize it. Then you can give me half of it.
Right. So
but they also make, we sell at my company Shift Gold.
Yeah.
We sell 10th ounce gold coins.
Right.
So, you can have small denomination, and we sell them by reputable mints. So you know that they're real. You don't have to guess. You don't have to try to assay it. You look at the coin
there,
and you can tell if it's been monkeyed with. Yeah. But
see, I want to give it to you, but I don't know if you can take it out of the country.
I'm sure I can just
like. How many days are you staying?
You know what? I can put that in my bag. No one's gonna care.
You sure?
Yeah.
This country can. No, some countries will put you in jail
for carrying that.
Yeah, depends if you declared or not, etc. Where you got it, who you got it from, or the source.
Well, if I tell them I got it from you, what do you?
Then you'll probably be even bigger trouble. But but it is real gold. It is given to me by the president of Kyrgyzstan. So I have not.
Well, you probably have some sentimental value now, so you don't want to give it to me.
Well, especially after this, you'll have some sentimental value. But we'll see. So, but the point is though, if I give you Bitcoin right now, right? We can verify instantly you got Bitcoin in a number of ways.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Right, and also even with a tokenized gold, right? So if you send it to someone, you can verify it almost immediately. Right?
Yeah, the same.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
You couldn't even tell if it's real.
No, of course not.
That was awesome.
It's a great visual gag, and also just anybody tuning in that would see that for the first time should start asking themselves, oh yeah, how do you verify gold? How long does it take? How accurate is it? And his solution to that is tokenization, which is what led to the fiat dollar that we have. We tokenized gold with paper certificates.
Yep.
Just because it's a digital certificate of ownership doesn't mean that it doesn't suffer the exact same problems, centralization and manipulation and auditability or accountability. It's just these arguments make no sense when you look at it. Yeah.
And I agree with Breadman here. He said, I think Natalie is done with him. Bitcoiners should stop interviews with Shift. Shift does not help with Bitcoin adoption. I agree with that.
Me too.
Because he's just really good with his words, and the people who have been following him for a lot of years, they just blindly trust whatever he says. He has a way of spinning things and essentially getting out of these gotcha moments like that. Like it's pretty obvious to anybody who's a Bitcoiner that was a gotcha moment for Peter, where he realized that, okay, yeah, it's tough to verify this. It's tough. He said you could bring that on an airplane. Try bringing that gold bar onto an airplane. I would love to see Peter do that. But nobody questions him. Nobody says, well, you can't. Like, you actually can't do that.
I mean, even if you could, you would have to declare it, and then it's going to be marked in different jurisdictions you're going through. There could be taxes associated with that. Just doesn't. It just creates all sorts of friction to have physical
and if
gold.
If he doesn't declare it, they're 100% going to take it from him.
Yeah, and possibly, like, there could be fines, there could be charges, there could be all sorts of stuff.
And what if you had 100 of them, like a lot of people do, which would be the equivalent of, I don't know, 20 Bitcoin?
Yeah, which you could keep in your head,
or in a book.
You keep in a book. You could memorize a border wallet.
Yeah, I don't.
Gold is stupid.
Have you had a debate with Schiff, Rajat, or have you had him on your show? No. Yeah, I just feel like Bitcoiners are giving him too much attention. But that's the other thing too, is like Bitcoiners and gold bugs are on the same team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? And I just feel like people like Peter Schiff, who have spent way too long in the precious metals, which was honestly, before Bitcoin, it was the place to be because it was immune from the money printer. And even though there was that still aspect of trust and verification required, it was still 100 times better than fiat dollars. So it's like they were right about that. But because they've been in that world so long and Peter has so much invested into everything attached to gold, he just won't, no matter how many points you raise. You could debate the guy for 10 hours and he wouldn't change his mind. What's the point of talking to people like that?
I think he just likes hearing his voice.
He likes attention because that leads people to his gold exchange, where he can actually sell the asset that he claims is the best. You know, he's trying to get rid of it in some way, like, or he's trying to profit from gold. You shouldn't. There's all sorts of sayings out there, but like one of them is, you shouldn't take short-term trading advice from a long-term investor. You shouldn't take long-term investing advice from a short-term trader. You shouldn't also take asset advice from somebody that's trying to earn fees from selling you that asset.
Yeah.
There's a direct conflict of interest there. And yeah, I do think, I mean, there's other people saying this in the chat, but I do think that guy has way too much airtime. He's gotten way too much attention. He's incredibly smart, and he's incredibly good at like a lot of macro stuff. And he has some content out there from back in the day that is really relevant to like how corrupt fiat is. But he gets way too much attention for his anti-Bitcoin stance because he has either buried his head in the sand, or he's doing it intentionally to just get more attention to his gold business. Yeah.
I would suggest a couple things. I mean, because I would say Peter Schiff's main argument is that Bitcoin's not physical and therefore it has no value.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's actually this really good article here written by Gigi, who is an absolute Bitcoin legend. And he basically talks about keeping track of things and how in the physical world, it's very easy to tell once that asset has been transferred. If I have a gold coin in my hand and I pass it to Rajat, he now has it. It's very easy in the physical world. It's more complicated in a digital system, in a digital world that we're moving into. And this article here called Bitcoin is Time. If you got some time, man, you're going to learn a lot from reading this article and the importance of basically, if you can't have something in the physical world, you need a ledger. And that ledger has to be open, transparent, and decentralized, which is what Bitcoin is. And so it's a really good way to compare something like gold and Bitcoin, and why if you don't have something that's physical, what components you need to make it work.
Yeah, you need triple ledger accounting.
Yep.
Which is one of the breakthroughs of Bitcoin.
Sorry, we're kind of getting attacked by bots here a little bit, boys.
Okay.
Where's Margot? Is she gone now?
I think
No,
so.
she's higher up.
I said she like it's a person.
The dang clanker.
Okay, well, we're out of time here, boys. I do want to say one thing, a couple things actually before we go. We got 2 minutes. Number one, we announced this last week, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning it again. in January, we've been doing this show on Rajat's stream, on Forrest's stream, on my stream, and of course on Maple Bitcoin stream. But starting in 2026, we're going to be exclusively doing it on the Maple Bitcoin channel. So we want to give you guys like a month of heads up. A lot of you subscribed to the channel last week, so thank you for that. And we just want to give you a heads up. So Friday afternoon rolls around and you're not scrambling trying to figure out where we are, you can just hop over to the Maple Bitcoin channel there. We just shared it in the chat, and subscribe, and you won't miss skip a beat here.
Perfect. And then the school community.
Yeah, go ahead there, Forrest.
Yeah, we're going to do another hour here, the happy hour, we call it, on our school community. You guys can join, 7-day free trial, and you can watch the lives. You can join in with your camera, with your mic if you want to, and we can continue the conversation there. And there's also all sorts of exclusive content on there as well, our master classes, which we talked about earlier in this live stream. Tons of value through the school community.
Tons, too much even.
Yeah.
Hey, Forrest, what's our email? Bitcoin is the values asking for. Isn't it maplebitcoin@proton.me?
Yeah.
Maplebitcoin at proton.me. Don't send us a freaking virus, though.
Don't send us any tokenized gold.
Yeah. I did want to say a big shout out to everybody who joined us on Zapstream today and for the sats over there. We appreciate you a lot. Same with the people who sent into our Koinos wallet there with the QR code on the top right. And just for being here. You know, there's a lot of people that show up when the price is going down because they're worried about it. There's a lot of people who show up when the price is running up. But I want to give an extra special shout out to everybody who showed up today when the price is just kind of doing nothing. And you just want to hang out, hear us talk for an hour and a half. And we appreciate you very much. So thanks everybody for being here. We hope you join us for the happy hour. I got my Guinness port here, and hopefully we'll have some interesting conversation over there. So any final thoughts, boys, or should we head over there?
No, we'll see you there. We'll see everybody there.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah.
Thanks, Forrest. We'll see everybody next week or over on the stream there. Bye-bye.